Okay, now it's recording. Yes, so how cool is that? The sun from both decks, so we can just see all of this together, and then I'll do a close-up of both of them. So this is Wild Unknown. We have the four corners with birds going outwards, down and up and out. Just taking in, I love her use of lines and color. And then we have the Mother Peace deck. Noticing how they're positioned in their bodies. And balloons and animals. And again, here's what they look like together. The sun. So both decks. I love it. I love when stuff like that happens. So let's position ourselves however we want to come into a meditation, an active centering of grounding, getting in our bodies, and connecting with the breath. So you might lay down or be seated. You might sit directly on the floor or have a cushion or blanket near it between you and the floor. Excuse me. And let's take a few moments to breathe and just scan your body. Maybe the eyes are open or closed. It's your choice. Yeah. Let's give ourselves about 10 deep breaths to really center and focus. Noticing all the effort it takes to breathe in and out. Where the breath moves in your body. Where the breath might guide the thoughts. Notice the next breath that we take. We're paying attention to the exhale and allowing that to be long and drawn out, really expelling all the air in the lungs as much as you possibly can. Whenever eventually you need to breathe back in again, breathe in through your belly. Allow that area to expand like a balloon. And again, deep, full exhales, really letting all the air out, allowing the belly and balloon to deflate. So very focused breathing right here in the belly, emulating a balloon, allowing it to fill and expand. Going at your own pace with this sense of deflating and letting go and letting all out. As we do this, we're linking up with the solar plexus. You might see the colors of yellow that were shown on these cards. You might even see the balloon that was on the Mother Peace card. And as you're fully inhaling, fully exhaling in the solar plexus, you might tune into sun rising and sun setting. The inhale is like the break of dawn, and we fill and expand. And then when the belly is fully out, it's like high noon, the sun is right above us. And then when we exhale, we move more into a yin way of going about and letting go, allowing it to set and release, and having that emptiness, that darkness, that coolness before the next break of dawn again. The sun is a marker for us to help tell time, the passage of time. It's the start again as it rises and sets and rises. The sun brings nourishment. Light and life to this world. To this world. Earth is special. We happen to be at the perfect distance for this sun to have this light. We also happen to be tilted, right? Not perfectly upright. This tilt gives us that seasonal change and those shifts and the way the sun lifts and lowers and lifts and lowers. It's all an illusion. It's really the earth that's moving around it. But there's still that expansive magnetic pole that this sun has, that we orbit around. It's this light and life that we are drawn to. It is the joy and the beauty and the bliss and abundance. You can allow your breath to go back into a more natural way of breathing. Allowing the messages and symbolisms and any images that you might have in your mind's eye of the sun to permeate around you. And then when you're ready, we'll bring our hands onto our belly, allowing the fingers to point downward. We're going to create like a triangle with our thumbs and pointer fingers here. So the thumbs come together, the fingers go down and come together. And take a few moments to breathe here. And you can scan the rest of the body as we move if you held any chronic tension. I say this because I noticed my jaw was clenched. Maybe some habit came back in for you as well. Allow that to release. And then when you exhale, I can help that release, but it can also help bring your focus to these hands, nice and directly on your solar plexus, on your belly, on the floor. And you can notice the breath and feel it. And you can allow it to be natural, just witnessing now at this moment. And take a few moments here. You might notice the heat from your hands permeating to your belly and back again. Take a few more moments to really notice these hands. And notice the symbol of a triangle that you've made with your thumbs and fingers. And we can think of yang energy, the masculine sun-led side of yin and yang. They say yang energy is from top down, so it moves from above to below. Whereas yin comes from the earth, so it moves upwards. So we're receiving it downwards. You can take these moments to notice this downward facing triangle. And we can ask ourselves, what is shining down on me? What can I receive from above? And then we can ask ourselves, what can I give to this earth? What can I receive to then give and continue to bring it downward, bring it into this real reality, life, this earth? What we receive that brings abundance to our own lives allows that capability for us to send it outwards. Keep that positive cycle of abundance going. Take a few moments to really allow yourself to be a conduit of this yang energy, of this doing, of this action that we're all participating in this world. We're all a part of what's happening. What we're receiving, we're spreading. You tune in and allow that to be pure. Allow what you receive to be pure and what you spread to be pure. And then as you breathe, we can remind ourselves that sometimes we have to filter that light. Sometimes we need our little filtration system. Allowing what we receive to continue to be pure. Sometimes work has to be done within ourselves before we send it out. Notice the next breath. And let it out as a sigh. Slowly keep the fingers and thumbs connected as they are, but we're going to bring the hands out in front of us now. Now we have this triangle with the thumbs and forefingers. The palms are facing away and the fingers are facing up. And at your own pace, we're going to slowly move this triangle and our hands up overhead. Noticing the energy we're putting out into this world. And whenever it is up overhead, maybe you meet your gaze to look at it. The reality of this energy. Breathe it in and out. Good. One more inhale. Notice what you receive in the hands. As you exhale, bring it to the heart now. Good. And if you'd like, you can set an intention or take a moment here to pause. Maybe form something to practice for, something to keep you focused throughout the embodiment part of this practice. Good, and a deep breath. Great. Let's meet in a seated position. And you might choose to have your legs crossed. You might be sitting on something. And let's bring our hands at our laps here. Maybe by the knees, maybe more by the thighs, so it feels right. Notice the length of your spine. Let's do some shoulder rolls here. Let's bring them forward and back. Maybe opening and closing the jaw. You can go the other way now with the shoulder rolls the other way. Good. And then with an inhale, bring the chest forward, lift the gaze, open through the throat. As you exhale, round the spine, tucking the chin, dropping the head down. Good. Big inhale, swooping the heart forward and up. Exhale, going the other way. Take a few more at your own pace here, noticing the spinal movement and any shifts that happen in your seat as you move. Good, and then we'll begin to incorporate our arms. So as you exhale, you can reach the arms forward, maybe even stretching the wrists and fingers. And as you inhale, you can reach the arms up and back. Kind of go back and forth. You might experiment a little bit with where you're reaching. Maybe instead of upwards, it's more outwards with the inhale. Allow this to be your own individual expression of these seated cat-cow movements. Allowing freedom in the arms and shoulders to really explore. and keeping your seat grounded, but noticing the shifting and movement. Let's take about 5 more breaths. Good, notice the next breath. Whenever you exhale, straight spine, hands back to the lap. And take a few moments to just sit with anything that you feel in your shoulders and your upper back. We'll notice this upper back and shoulders. Breathe into it and lengthen and lift in that region. And when you exhale, send the energy to your seat now. Notice your awareness on the floor. And we'll bring the right fingertips by your seat, or the palm if it reaches. We'll bring the left hand to the right thigh. Before you twist, bring the awareness to your solar plexus again. So notice the navel, you might even engage it towards the spine. And then slowly twist in the low back. When you inhale, bring the awareness back to the shoulders, open up in the chest. And when you exhale, maybe twisting in the neck, releasing in the head. Take a few more breaths, noticing where your own awareness is taking you in your body as you twist. Being present with where you are. And we'll take one more breath. And release it back to center, hands on the lap. Take a moment to feel the difference from side to side. Good, big breath in, lengthen through the top of the head as it lifts up. Whenever you exhale, release in the jaw, shoulders, and seat. Awareness down on the floor. Bring the left hand to meet the floor, right hand to meet the thigh. Awareness to the solar plexus, lengthening and engaging, and then twisting in your own way. Nice and slow and intentional, having meaning and purpose with your movements. And as you twist, you might twist in the neck further, or any other position, part of the body, deepening, going further. Your own capabilities. Good, take another breath. Great, bring it back to center, hands on the lap. Take a breath in the middle to recenter and refocus. Good. And as you're ready, we'll lengthen our legs so we can shake it out. Maybe bend and straighten the knees, maybe circles with the ankles. Good. Great. Let us do our version of either a standing forward fold or a downward facing dog, or anything else that helps us lengthen and stretch throughout the backs of our legs. It might be a seated forward fold, but my body was telling me that I wanted a standing forward fold.
But anything for you to help stretch out back here. You might kind of wiggle more in the knees and the ankles.
Just wake up your lower body however you want. And as you're in your lengthening, take, let's say, 5 deep breaths. Just stretch it out.
Good. We'll take one more breath in the backs of our legs. Great. Let's return to a seat. And bring our legs back out in front of us for this staff pose, the Dandasana. And let's bring our hands on our thighs or knees. Just resting them here, tuning back into the heat that your hands provide. And slowly begin to open your legs and keep your hands on the thighs. Come to a straddle position now, going as far as you feel comfortable with. And really soften those knees. Allow that knee joint to feel rested and not overworked. Still with this increase in angle here, this opening, this outward movement. Just tune into the inner thighs, the groin, and the hips. Good. Take a few moments. Notice these hands again. Notice the direction of your legs, where your feet are in relation to your hips. We're going to slowly lean our torso towards the right, dragging the right hand towards the foot and the left hand towards the left hip. Allow an exhale to release. When you inhale, come back to center, both hands on the knee. And then when you exhale, lean towards the left hand to the left foot, right hand sliding up to the thigh. As you inhale, come back to center. And then we'll exhale the other way. We'll pass this back and forth. Inhale to slide the hands back in. Exhale to keep on sliding. We'll just kind of flow back and forth here. Rubbing up and down the tops of our legs. Feeling the shift of our weight in our seat move from side to side. Feeling the length of our spine and the side body shift as we breathe. And noticing any other sensations that are coming up for you. Noticing the sensory input that your body is receiving and giving itself. Let's do 3 more rounds from side to side. Good. Notice the next round as you begin to come back to center whenever we get there. We'll meet one another with our hands at the knees, finding some stillness, noticing what the hands feel like, what's being held there, any memory, noticing what the tops of the legs, the shins and thighs feel like. And then as you're ready, we'll bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana, you can keep the hands here, or maybe you bring them to your feet, whatever feels right for you. Me personally, my hands are drawn to my feet. It doesn't mean yours have to be. Just notice that connection. We can bring our awareness to our seat and hips and inner thighs and groin again. Take a few moments to sit in Baddha Konasana. When you inhale, create a balloon belly once again. Then we'll pause and hold the breath in and the belly outwards. Take a few moments. Feel that expansion. You can send it to the lungs, noticing the spine. Keeping it in as long as you feel comfortable with. Whenever you exhale, we'll fold to a forward fold. Sinking and releasing and deflating. You might even curl in the spine a little bit for a few moments. Feel the deflation with your exhalation. Whenever you inhale again, notice the navel again and lengthen through the rest of the spine and the top of the head. When you exhale, sink, deflate, melt. 3 more breaths like this, intentionally really filling, flowing, and emptying. And then whenever you exhale it next, just hang out, find some stillness in this forward fold, and be in it.
Good. One more breath. When you inhale next, we'll lift back up to a seat and bring the arms up overhead again. Good. Allowing those fingertips to wiggle. Notice what you receive. You reach towards the sky, towards the sun. You might look up, breathe in. When you exhale, keep the gaze up. Bring the hands down behind you, fingertips pointing away. Arch a little bit in the chest, open in the throat. Good. Take another big inhale. Exhale, sigh. Great. Let's bring the knees together. We'll come onto our backs. Laying down. Maybe hugging the knees into the chest or dropping them from side to side. Good, and your choice here, you can do a happy baby, maybe a legs up the wall, some sort of lengthening through the legs, and perhaps involving a hip opener. It's what you're comfortable with. We'll give ourselves like 10 breaths or so. Just be and play around. Good. With these next few breaths, check in with your body. Ask yourself what you might need. So we can prepare ourselves to set up for a supported heart opener if you have that capability, whether it be by using a blanket folded up, a bolster, a pillow. We can do it in various different ways. So I will show you with a few different options, maybe talk you through a few others. If you have a blanket, you can fold it up, and then we'll bring it to the space right here in our mid-back. So that part of our body remains lifted off the ground. The back of the head can come to the ground, and the backs of the hips can come to the ground. But then this mid part can be supported with a folded blanket, pillow, cushion, anything you might have nearby. And if you find it and you feel like it's not quite perfect, feel free to tinker with it. We have plenty of time. There's no need to rush. And then we have options of things we can do with our legs.
It might feel nice to have the knees bent and the soles of the feet on the floor. You might even drop the knees in towards one another. Or you can extend the legs. If you have the legs extended, maybe consider supporting the backs of the knees with something, whether it be a rolled blanket or a bolster. Another option is continuing to open up like a Baddha Konasana, the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. If you want some more of that. So we got several options with the lower body. The upper body has this nice curve, this lift and support. And your arms can be open from side to side, lifted and extended as far out to your torso as you feel comfortable with. Ask your shoulder where it feels right. And if you try different areas and it doesn't feel right, maybe the elbows need support. Maybe they need a pillow underneath them or a folded blanket. So finding this heart opener using what you have at home might take a little bit of time. Might take some nesting, some experimenting. Feel the cycle of your own breath. Nurturing your solar plexus through the heart. Notice the next few breaths that you take. The inhale is drawing the awareness through the core, the belly, the solar plexus, the balloon that we create. Through the exhale, send it out through the heart. Feel that opening, that sinking and releasing. The inhales expand through the front body, lifting up and out. The exhales, you notice the back body, and the curve created in that part of the body. One more deep breath in this heart opener. And as you're ready, you can remove any of the props that you've used and incorporate them in your own final resting position. So it can be a Shavasana on your back, maybe on your side, maybe on your belly, maybe some other supported position with these props. Maybe you stay right where you are. We'll take a few moments to come into ourselves and close out this practice with a sense of surrender. Surrendering to the sun. Surrendering to the revolutions of this earth. The revolution of each breath in your own body. The life and birth and creation of this yang energy. And honoring the stillness and the quiet and the release and the letting go. Holding in duality, both the light and the dark. Because light cannot exist without casting shadows. And as we are drawn to light, like most creatures are, most life forms are, we mustn't be drawn away from darkness. Holding the lessons we learned from both in our own breath. Begin to deepen your breath. Allow for bigger movement and breath in the body. Maybe some wiggles in the fingers and toes. You might open and close the mouth. Brush the lips and teeth with your tongue. You might shake the head, yes and no. Let's stretch ourselves nice and wide, like a starfish, expanding through the arms and legs, maybe lifting them up and down off the ground, coming into your own body here. And with an inhale, really spread and expand and stretch. And as you exhale, bring your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around yourself. Maybe the forehead comes to meet the knees. Maybe you rock from side to side a bit. With this inward holding position, notice your core. Take one more breath in and out. You can roll onto your side. We'll pause, reflect upon the practice, seal it all in. If you set a specific intention or dedication or prayer for yourself, you can recall it to your mind. And with that, we can press up to a seat as you're ready, facing our cameras and one another. You can bring the hands to the chest. I honor this time spent with you. I honor this practice. And you're invited to join me in an Om to close it out with our voices. You can inhale. The sun in me recognizes and honors the sun in you. Namaste. Here's the images once again. The sun in both decks. I love it. I hope you all have a great evening.